Welcome, welcome, welcome. This space is dedicated to young women who are building lives of purpose and aiming for ambitious goals. It is a place for anyone who believes in the power of self-expression, steady personal growth, genuine empowerment, grounded positivity, financial clarity. Today, we are going to explore a topic that is often misunderstood, but when used correctly, becomes a foundational tool for real-world achievement. We are talking about affirmations, but not in the way you might have heard them discussed before. This is not about wishing upon a star or pretending your way to success. This is about taking back control of the internal conversation that is already happening inside your mind, every single day. Let's reframe this concept right now, together. Affirmations aren't about pretending, they're about programming. An affirmation is not a magic spell you cast upon the universe, hoping for a lottery win. Instead, think of it as a line of code you intentionally write for your own mental operating system. It is a deliberate, focused instruction you give yourself. This instruction does not promise instant results. It promises steady alignment. It works to align your thoughts with your intentions, your identity with your actions, your daily choices with your long-term vision. It's a tool for programming, not pretending. The goal is not to force yourself to feel a certain way, or to ignore the very real difficulties that come with pursuing something meaningful. The goal is to consciously choose the voice that guides you through those difficulties. We are often our own harshest critics, and that internal narrative can either be a source of friction or a source of fuel. By selecting one clear, believable statement, you begin to gently steer your mind away from self-sabotage and toward self-trust. This is not about faking it until you make it. It is about believing in your capacity to do the work required to become the person you want to be, one small, intentional step at a time. It's a quiet, powerful act of self-direction. So, if you have ever rolled your eyes at the idea of chanting, "I am a millionaire," while your bank account says otherwise, you are in the right place. We are moving past that superficial approach. We are digging into the practical, psychological mechanics of how a single, repeated sentence can fundamentally change your behavior. It is a process of mental alignment that makes it easier to show up, to follow through, and to remain resilient when the initial excitement of a new goal fades. This is about building a foundation of self-belief so solid that it can weather the inevitable storms of doubt and uncertainty that lie on the path to every great accomplishment. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You act in alignment with who you believe you are. The truth is, you are already using affirmations every single day. The only difference is that you probably are not choosing them consciously. You might not even notice they are there, running on a loop like a familiar but unhelpful song. Think about the last time you made a small mistake. What was the first thought that popped into your head? "Of course I messed that up. I am just not good at this." These are affirmations. They are short, powerful statements about who you are and what you are capable of. Through repetition, they carve deep grooves into your thinking patterns. Take a moment to consider the phrases you repeat to yourself. When you look in the mirror, what does the voice in your head say? When you think about your finances, is the script, "I am so bad with money. I'll never get ahead"? When you face a new opportunity, does "I am not ready for that yet" immediately surface? These are not harmless, throwaway comments. Each one is a small vote for a specific identity. Over time, these votes accumulate, and your brain accepts them as truths. The mind hears the instruction, and your body and actions follow. Is your internal monologue an ally or an adversary? One of the most profound ways that intentional affirmations support your goals is by initiating an identity shift before you have the external evidence to prove it. We often think that we need to achieve a certain outcome, get the job, save the money, run the marathon, before we can feel like the person who does those things. We wait for the results to give us permission to feel confident, capable, worthy. This is a backward approach that keeps us stuck in a cycle of waiting and self-doubt. A well-crafted affirmation flips this script entirely. It allows you to start embodying the identity of the person you want to become, right now, today. This concept is simpler than it sounds. You do not need to wait until your savings account has a specific number in it to start identifying as a person who is responsible with money. You can adopt that identity today by saying, "I make conscious choices that support my financial future." To make this idea less abstract, let's ground it in vivid, simple examples you can easily picture. Imagine a young woman who wants to build a small emergency fund. Her goal feels huge and far away. Her old automatic thought is, "I'm terrible with money. I can never save. This belief makes her feel defeated before she even starts. Now imagine she replaces that thought with a new, gentle affirmation. I make steady choices that build my future. This sentence doesn't feel like a lie, it feels possible. The next day, when she's tempted to make an impulse purchase online, she pauses. She brings her new sentence to mind. It helps her close the browser tab. Later that week, she opens her banking app and sets up a tiny automatic transfer of just $5 into a savings account. She is acting in alignment with being a person who makes steady choices. A woman fears public speaking, but needs to present at a team meeting. I share my ideas with calm confidence. She takes a breath, repeats her lines silently, and begins to speak. This practice of intentionally shaping our internal narrative holds a unique and powerful significance for young women. From a very early age, we are often swimming in a sea of cultural messaging that subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, encourages us to be smaller, quieter, more accommodating. Think about the language used to describe ambitious men versus ambitious women. These social undercurrents condition us to second-guess our own desires and to feel a sense of guilt for wanting more, whether that more is a higher salary, a leadership role, more creative expression, simply more space to be ourselves. This societal conditioning often manifests as a pervasive sense of imposter syndrome, the persistent internal feeling that you are a fraud and will be found out, despite your accomplishments. We worry that if we shine too brightly, we will be judged, criticized, rejected. So we dim our own light, staying in the background to avoid rocking the boat. This is precisely why the practice of choosing your own affirmations is so vital. It is a shield, a quiet rebellion, and a sanctuary where your voice is clearer than the outside noise. An affirmation, in this context, becomes less about performance and more about protection. Think of it as a personal shield you carry with you into the world. It is not something you need to shout from the rooftops or display for others to see. It is a private, internal anchor that holds you steady when the waves of self-doubt, external criticism, or old conditioning threaten to pull you under. I am competent, and my contributions are valuable. It deflects the sting of the comment before it has a chance to settle in and take root. I am allowed to take up space with my work and my voice. It reframes visibility as an opportunity for impact rather than a risk of rejection. My success creates opportunities for myself and others. I pursue my goals with integrity and generosity. The effectiveness of an affirmation lies in its construction. The goal is not a long list of vague wishes. Forge one single, powerful anchor sentence that feels aspirational and believable. To do this, let's establish a few simple rules. First, use only one line. Simplicity and repetition stick. One focused sentence becomes a signal. Second, keep present tense. Avoid I will be or I am going to become. Use I am or I do to ground identity in the now. Third, make it about identity or your process, not an uncontrollable outcome. Example: I am a wildly successful famous author overnight. If you haven't written a single page, that will feel ridiculous. Instead, I am a writer who shows up to the page with consistency. Instead of I will be fearless, try I move forward with courage, even when I feel fear. An affirmation without action is just a nice thought. To truly rewire your brain and your behavior, the sentence must be integrated into your life through a simple, consistent ritual. The purpose of the ritual is to create a deliberate moment of alignment, connecting your chosen words to your physical reality. Each morning, before you pick up your phone, find a quiet spot, take a slow breath, speak your chosen affirmation aloud, once. Feel the vibration of the words in your chest. Let the meaning settle. Now, take one small, immediate action aligned with your affirmation. This pairing closes the loop between belief and behavior and provides your brain with immediate proof that your affirmation is true. We have covered a lot of ground, moving from the theory of self-talk to the practical steps of crafting and using a personal affirmation. The anemic wishful thinking has been replaced with a robust strategy for mental alignment, identity shifting, consistent action. You see how this practice is a potent tool for young women navigating a world that often asks them to be less. It is a shield, a quiet rebellion, and an anchor in the storm of self-doubt. Now, I invite you to participate in one final, short-spoken ritual. Find a comfortable position, uncross your legs, and let your hands rest gently in your lap. Take a slow breath in and a long breath out. Read each of the following 3 lines slowly. Pause between each line. Let the words land. Let them feel true. I trust myself to grow into the woman my goals require. I don't need to rush. I need to stay aligned. Everything I want is built through belief, action, and patience. If this helped, please like, share, and subscribe so we can keep creating valuable, inspiring content. And visit www.1012expressions.com for merch that supports your journey with style and humor.